hard to tell perspective. Dan, go over there so we can see how big it is. See, it's tiny. I would call it diminutive. And that's how we lost Dan.
Hi!
Hey, it's Cake and Whimsy. Today from the First Friday for Putnam for this year.
In my hometown of Putnam.
Not my hometown.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time here.
We haven't figured out where my hometown is yet.
So we're off to a good start. We made Jess trek and slog up the hill, both ways uphill.
In the snow.
Right? You can see it. It's practically buried. So this is a small town festival that we're gonna see what's fun. It's one of our favorites around here, and this is their opening season day. Today, the first of the First Fridays.
So join us!
Yay! Lovely downtown Putnam. We're heading to get coffee because it looks like people haven't quite finished setting up yet. They're supposed to be starting at 5 an hour earlier this time, and it did not happen.
I think I know where we can get coffee. Just follow that dragon. No, that dragon over there.
Which dragon? Ah, dragon!
The giant dragon, the only one on the street. I like that you said which dragon, like there were 5 to choose from.
That may have been aspirational. Oh, look!
What? Oh.
That's so cool. I'm gonna go look at dragon.
I figured.
Through the archways.
Would you like to go hang out with the dragon?
Ooh, sure.
That is a pretty impressive dragon.
Dragon, dude. Carved out of wood. Flame.
I thought you were warming your hands by the dragon. It's a very impressive carving, though.
Look, it's drooling.
That's a tongue. Oh, yes, no, it was. All right, and this is where we're going for our coffee. Victoria Station. Yay! We found a fairy arch. And Dan is being abducted now by fairies, but like voluntarily?
If I don't come back from this, it's because I've gone to a better place.
Is it?
Hey, look, there's fairies.
Oh, there are fairies.
We might get abducted here.
I didn't even notice that. Oh, another one right.
Tinkerbell.
I've never seen Tinkerbell actually look happy.
Yeah, that's eerily creepy.
And it's all Tinkerbells.
Like, I'm just kind of wondering what she's got up her sleeve.
She's gonna jump down and attack you from there.
I am going to be distracted. Oh, that's not Tinkerbell.
There's one other fairy.
Oh, she is in for a bad day. Tinkerbell's very jealous. So we had a fairy festival in town in Putnam a couple weeks ago, and everyone is still decorated for fairy stuff, and I think that is pretty darn cool. This used to be one of our favorite restaurants, the Courthouse. It still is the Courthouse, but we don't get to eat here very much now. Oh look, I almost forgot. It's a little fairy door. Hello, little fairy doors. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Dan.
Look what's up ahead. We got Wonderland comic books. That's the one with the yellow sign because you probably can't see it. That is our favorite comic book shop.
And we have more of our fairy houses, but these are tea cozies. Little teapot cozies, they're adorable.
We're not going to film too close to people's crafts because they might get upset about that. I think we've mentioned before our love of all things Playmobil.
Yes.
And we found a place in Putnam now with all things Playmobil. Well, all things toys, but yeah, look at this. Look at these. All the fairy ones we saw down the street. And... right, Jess?
Which one are you looking at?
I'm trying to look at the fairy.
Oh, the fairy chariot.
I can hold things well.
So, a fairy chariot or chariot? We don't have the dragons yet.
Oh, we don't. We haven't even started collecting dragons.
And I think that might be a fairy salon.
Oh, And I can be a hairdresser fairy
You
doll.
can be a magical hairdresser.
If I were a Barbie, I could almost be an I can hold a camera Barbie.
You want me to take it?
No.
I like the Egyptian take-along tune.
Is that called the take-along?
No, it's called the Egyptian
Oh.
play box, but I said
But it all-
take-along because it folds up.
But yeah. Oh, all of these fold up.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It's a fairyland in a jewelry box.
With a jackalope.
And a
Does it-
skeleton.
Does it count as a jackalope if the horns are clearly not attached to the rabbit in any way?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what that container is. Is it a porthole? Is it a... I don't know, but it's cool looking.
Is it a redneck fairy portal?
It got first
Is
place,
that-
so probably not.
Well, I mean, this is the redneck part of it. And then inside it's a magical land. 'Cause
Fairy picnic.
ooh, fairy picnic. Well, you could totally take that along with you.
Is that a teddy bear picnic, but only, you know, fairies?
And evidently, look at this. There's a fairy door map where you can play along and find all the hidden fairy doors in the Putnam town business area. That's kind of cool. How many of them are there? 23. Holy cow. Look at the castle. Okay, I kind of dig fairies. I guess that's another thing of ours too.
Okay, this is one of the coolest little bookcases ever. We'll start at the top and work our way down. Look at the library, it's so cute.
Look at the kid proposing to his fairy girlfriend there.
Let's see.
I would put this in my house in a moment.
Right?
I feel like there's a craft project just waiting to happen here.
Are we going to end up with a fairy library now?
I feel like a self-contained fairy village that, you know, is its own spot might have a perfect place in our house. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of a downtown that is inside of books. Books are already kind of a door.
And this was my favorite book as a kid. Okay, so to continue the fantastic ridiculousness, look at the basket of cupcakes and cookies that we can't have. Not because you can't have them, but because we physically just can't eat them.
But somebody made all those dozens of cookies and cupcakes for people to eat, and that is amazing.
And now we begin the descent back to the car. It doesn't look bad right now, but once we tip over the edge, it's like at the beginning of the roller coaster.
Should we set pythons and rope?
Pitons?
No, pythons.
Pitons!
Pythons.
Damn it, Ray, it's pitons!
Correct us in the comments below.
Correct him in the comments below. Rich, you know you want to. We survived the downhill, the descent
did.
part of our day, our evening.
It
So-
was sketchy for a second, but, you know, I thought she was going to trip and just go the whole way and avalanche, but she made it. She caught herself. It was good.
So we had fun as usual there. It was
Yeah.
very entertaining. It's a little bit on the small side right now, but at the beginning of the season, there's always fewer vendors than later on in the future months. There's six months of this that happens.
That is true, and every one of them has a different theme, and to some extent, they find better and more interesting ways to fulfill that theme. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
And the culmination of it is the October event, which is, they always have a zombie-themed runway that you get to do, which is really fun. Everyone dresses up like zombies and struts their stuff. And this year, the October one is also a steampunk theme, so we'll have a lot of steampunk zombies.
It should be a lot of fun. We didn't film as much this time because we were still a little uncertain about putting people in frame and that kind of stuff and filming in crowds, but we'll kind of find our pace on that one.
So we also met some fun people at a new toy store.
Yeah, a toy store is great just by itself, but when you find a toy store that has owners that are whimsical and fun anyway, that's pretty cool all by itself.
It is, and they had Playmobil. Our hunt for Playmobil, we found close Playmobil. Yay!
Yay! A lot of ones we hadn't seen before, and they just seem to be really nice people.
And they're gonna make sure that we get hooked up with our Playmobil advent calendar that we do every year.
Right?
Yes.
And they'll probably have several there, so we're gonna be visiting this place quite a few more times, I think.
Very much. And do you ever meet somebody that you automatically think, gee, I should be friends with this person within a few minutes of talking to them? How do you then turn that around and make it an actual friendship? Because it's a very short, temporary interaction. How do you make this conversion?
Please tell her she's obsessing now.
And now we're gonna go home. Hi, bunny. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a bunny. Gotta find my zoom. Let's see if we can get closer to it. Oh, look at its cottontail! Hi there, little bun bun. You're very cute. So we've made a little bit of progress this week on the puzzle. And by this week, I mean yesterday. In the evening.
We are not super fast.
To be fair, we're not puzzle builders either. This is kind of a first for us, and we're gonna get the hang of it eventually.
We made a lot of pieces that look like they belong in certain pieces and put some of them in the places they sort of belong, and I think that's praiseworthy.
Praise us.
Praise.
Praise us in the comments.
We are praise zombies. Praise.
We live on your praise.
I feel like I look like a soccer fan.
You kind of do.
Like I'm wearing the colors of some particular club.
Well, French.
Oh! There we go. There we go. The French football team.
It's a little French flag here.
I just thought it was a tag for the manufacturer. It's not, you're right.
It also says something, but I can't quite read it.
Alright then. Jess had a milestone today.
I did. Well, it was yesterday, but...
Today was the actual milestone for the second part of it, though.
I hit 1,000 day streak on Duolingo for French. Didn't miss a day, never used my little gem that you can buy, so that the streak freeze gem. Just 1,000 days every single day.
Now, you recently also decided at 1,000 you are going to take a break. Why would this be?
Because it's hard to break a streak when you get to a certain point, and 1,000 is really... It gets very stressful at that point. You're always afraid you're going to forget it, and there's this obligation to do it whether you want to or not, which is great. But at this point, I need to stop. It's becoming a little bit of a weird, stressful obsession.
I have a solid 2-day streak going. You know, started and stopped it quite a few times, but I got a solid 2 days in. I think I might go for 3. Who knows?
The fun part is I picked French, partly because I wanted to learn French, but partly because I knew Dan had an interest in learning French too.
And I still do. My life gets a little complicated sometimes, and I don't seem to be able to find the 4 minutes that it takes to do this every day. But I am going to commit to continuing on with it. I'm just not going to try and have a streak.
And I'm doing the opposite and committing not to continue on with it for at least a little while.
So by the time I have a solid 3-day streak going, I will still not know anywhere near as much as she knows about this. But whatever.
Oh, I have killed my seedlings that I showed you the other day. I don't know what happened. It seemed like the watering was fine, and suddenly they got just black around the edges of the leaves, and then they died. Yet again, my record is intact.
And in a show of sympathy to Jess, I have also killed my ivy plant. This did survive a long time though. I kept it alive for 9 months or so, I think. But But no, it has died from abuse, I believe.
So the plant murder continues. I'm very sorry. I'd like to rectify this someday, but I'm trying.
Not to curse us or anything, but while we're talking about plants and plant murder, we also have a brand new peach tree out in the yard that just sprang from the mostly dead remnants of the old peach tree, and that's exciting. Oh, it's got flowers all over it. It's pretty cool.
We'll probably take you out and take you on a tour at some point so you can see that. Not now. It's been raining so much lately.
And my grass is very tall right now, and it's going to stay that way until it really stops raining and dries out a bit.
Yeah, and the forecast says it's going to rain for like the next 2 weeks straight still, which is very annoying. And we'll see what happens tomorrow when we attempt to go play yard sale bingo.
Ooh, yard sale bingo.
Fingers crossed that the weather holds out long enough that we can go hit some yard sales.
We hit a little trial run of it tonight at the festival where we went into a craft show. Or a tag sale for the church thing. We decided not to count it, but we did knock off probably 4 or 5 X's, so not bad.
Yeah.
We'll see how we make out tomorrow in the real one.
To be clear, we're starting fresh tomorrow. We didn't actually cross them off.
No. We just remembered things. So I think that's it. Maybe it's time to frost the cake. Yes! Oh, you don't know how satisfying that was.
Kind of hurt a little.
Yeah, but, you know. Hey, also, we hit that time.
We did.
We didn't even miss or half hit or have to do a cut. That was pretty awesome. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again because we missed the second time.
That's why I did the yeah.
Well done.